Hello again, another edition of In the Crosshairs. A couple of varying subjects. I wanted to go back real quick to the NFL's whole situation with this Al Jazeera steroid deal. One of my favorite responses in this, an unbelievable pass rusher and a guy that at his age can't be taken any years off, James Harrison of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Made a comment that he'd be more than willing to talk to investigators. In fact, he invited Roger Goodell to come to his house. He said, if you want to talk about this, come to my house, we'll talk. But now the NFLPA is involved, and now there'll be attorneys. And my guess is they won't be allowed to miss that deadline. The NFL has no reason to back off. They've had nothing but powers bestowed upon them by the court after that pathetic CBA was signed a couple of years ago. So the players are starting to now understand really how bad a deal that was. One of the other big stories in the news is Ryan Lochte and the swimmers that were supposedly mugged at gunpoint in Rio. Now that whole story is kind of fallen apart, and a judge in Brazil has ordered Ryan Lochte to stay there. They want his passport, and they want to talk to him. Problem is, Ryan Lochte isn't in Brazil anymore, supposedly, which is really kind of surprising, because if you saw any of his reality show, did you really think that if brains were dynamite, Ryan Lochte could even blow his nose? The guy, I'm surprised he doesn't have a pacemaker just to remind him to breathe. He's so stupid. But he's out of the country. It's not going to do them any good. And hey, he didn't do fantastic in the Olympics anyway, and everybody knows he's a moron. So how bad could his reputation be hurt by just getting so drunk he couldn't see anything straight? Another one of these comments came out, and this is about Olympic basketball. DeAndre Jordan of the NBA fame made a comment that an Olympic gold medal is better than an NBA title. Kind of like Carmelo Anthony making the same sort of statement that I could live with the Olympic medals if I'd never got an NBA title. Spoken like a couple of guys that never won stink in the pros. And I know Melo got a title at Syracuse with Boeheim and all that, but son, you don't know what you're talking about. Just keep quiet about that. You've never won a title. The Olympics, it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Those other teams don't have a chance. You've made some of those games close by basically playing and one on the court, trying to lob pass and make goofy passes and everything else. That's not basketball. I mean, you're just destroying some of these teams. That's pathetic. You think a medal for that is better than an NBA title? That just tells everybody that's listening, or that cares, or maybe really shouldn't care, that you really don't know what you're talking about, period. College side, hey, did you see Art Briles and the comments he made? I've never done anything illegal, immoral, or unethical. I know, it's rather a Nixonian sort of plausible deniability. I guess if you structure yourself and lay yourself enough by your assistants and everybody else, you don't know what's going on in your program. He's on this sort of tour to get his name out there, and he says he'll be back in college football by December of 2016, and he'll be here for the season in 2017. I feel sorry for whoever hires this guy, because he's obviously not learned a single solitary thing from that whole experience at Baylor. Still remains to be seen if Baylor has learned a single solitary thing. All we know now is from all these comments and from some of the recent things and problems that program's had, it should have gotten the death penalty, and Briles should have gotten a show cause for 2 to 3 years. It's pathetic. But, you know, we all move on. We'll start the college football season, and until they're reminded, most people will just forget about it. One other thing real quick, Dansby Swanson, besides being a really cool sports name, he's a young prospect from the Gwinnett Braves who's now going to be playing for the Atlanta Braves tonight. I heard him referred to as a five-tool player that does none of those things really great. Ooh, I'm excited. Sure glad they got a new stadium out of the community last year. What a rip-off that was. But wish the kid good luck. I got a lot of skeptical fans here. My guess is hit a home run on your first at-bat, make a couple of great defensive stops at shortstop, and people will just call it a fluke. Go 0 for 3, and they'll talk about your potential. Can you really lose? Can you really win? That's it for In the Crosshairs. Have a great day.